Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. President Paul Kagame, alongside Prime Minister Kyriakos of Greece, has delivered the opening remarks at the special edition of the Talking Africa-Europe debate series. The agricultural machinery provided to farmers in Bugarama Valley has not been working for more than 9 years. Current and former staff members have accused Dr. Takeshi Kasai, the top director of the World Health Organization in the Western Pacific, of racist, unethical and abusive behavior. Ousmane Dembele is said to open talks with Paris Saint-Germain. Now the news in detail. President Paul Kagame, alongside Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis of Greece, has delivered the opening remarks at the special edition of the Talking Africa-Europe debate series. The debate is part of a series of 3 high-level talks organized by the Africa-Europe Foundation to facilitate open dialogue on key issues between the 2 continents. The debate's focus is on the following priority areas: climate and energy, migration and mobility, and vaccine access and equity. The Africa-Europe Foundation's mission is to facilitate multi-stakeholder dialogue, catalyze partnerships, and open up new opportunities that can turn Africa-Europe relations into action. Health experts say there are certain types of foods that the human body prefers and needs, but when people consume them at an unpredictable level, they cause a variety of diseases. Diabetes, heart diseases, and other related illnesses can be life-threatening. The Department of Cardiology at the Rwanda Biomedical Center reports that there are currently Rwandans at risk because of unhealthy eating habits. RBC has conducted a research that revealed poor nutrition among Rwandans. RBC advises people to eat healthy foods because the research figures show that poor feeding is a serious problem. Residents of Mukura sector, Huye district, appreciate the program initiated by the authorities to help them gain the knowledge of vegetable and fruit farming because it has helped them to fight malnutrition, especially in children. Kanyesa Anosiata, Deputy Mayor for Social Welfare in Huye district, advises the residents to look for various ways to improve nutrition within their families. Since the beginning of this program, the number of malnourished children in her district has dropped from 110 to 40 children. Rwanda Biomedical Center has appointed a new director. Professor Claude Mambo Muvunyi has been appointed as the new Director General of the Rwanda Biomedical Center, replacing Dr. Sabin Sanzimana, who was recently suspended from the position. Rwanda Investigation Bureau is currently conducting an investigation on Dr. Sanzimana. Professor Muvunyi was previously a lecturer at the University of Rwanda and an epidemiologist. The professor has done a variety of studies including hepatitis B, breast cancer, and various other studies. He will be deputized by Noera Bigirimana, former head of research at RBC. The agricultural machinery provided to farmers in Bugarama Valley has not been working for 9 years. Residents of Bugarama Valley in Rusizi district have been questioning about the agricultural machines that have not been working for more than 9 years. The farming machines were given to farmers in 2012 to help them in development, but these machines have not worked since they arrived. They were incapable of operating in the rice swamps. The residents are asking the authorities to replace the machines. Last year, the Public Accounts Committee asked Rusizi district authorities to find a solution to the problem of these machines, but the district authorities have pleaded for patience as they look for a solution. Now some items of international news. Sudan has closed its borders with the Central African Republic. Sudan on Wednesday shut its land border with the Central African Republic in what officials said was to manage a security threat from the neighboring country. The Central African Republic is going through turmoil after some armed groups that controlled two-thirds of the country launched an attack in December 2020 to prevent the re-election of President Faustin Archange Touadera. However, the government managed to recapture all the major cities and forced the militants to seek refuge in the forest near the border with Sudan. For months, the armed groups have been planting explosives along main roads to delay the advance of pro-government forces. Current and former staff members have accused Dr. Takeshi Kasai, the top director of the World Health Organization in the Western Pacific, of racist, unethical and abusive behavior that has undermined the UN Health Agency's effort to curb the coronavirus pandemic. The allegations were laid out in an internal complaint filed October and again in an email last week sent by unidentified concerned World Health Organization staff to senior leadership in the executive board. The internal complaint and the email described a toxic atmosphere with a culture of systematic bullying and public ridiculing. The US has rejected Russia's demand to reject Ukraine's request to join NATO. Russia had issued a written list of its concerns about the expansion of NATO and related security issues. Among them was a demand for NATO to rule out the possibility of Ukraine and others to ever join the alliance. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the US's response made its core principles clear, including Ukraine's sovereignty and its right to choose to be part of security alliances such as NATO. Mr. Blinken gave no concessions, but said that he was offering Russia a serious diplomatic path forward should Russia choose it. There is still room for diplomacy in Ukrainian crisis. At least that's the conviction of French President Emmanuel Macron, who continues to push for dialogue with Russia despite signs pointing to a potential war. Macron is preparing to talk Friday with Vladimir Putin, and Macron's presidential palace hosted talks between Russian and Ukrainian advisors on Wednesday, the first face-to-face negotiations since Russia has massed troops near Ukraine in recent weeks. France's diplomacy-focused strategy complicates efforts by the US and NATO to show a tough united front against Russia. And experts question whether it will be enough to deter a Russian invasion of Ukraine. As some items of sports news, Arsenal could switch their search for a defensive midfielder to Aston Villa's Douglas Luiz after apparently dropping out of the contest to sign Lyon star Bruno Guimaraes. Ousmane Dembele is said to open talks with Paris Saint-Germain after his agent leaked the fact the French giants had been in contact with him. Manchester United have been urged to appoint Zinedine Zidane as their next manager by former Old Trafford favourite Louis Saha. Now the review of Rwanda Stock Exchange on 27th January 2022. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 48,157,500 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in 5 deals on the fixed income market, while the equities market remained quiet. As the share counters closed, Bralirwa closed the counter at 125 Rwandan francs, I&M Bank closed the counter at 45 Rwandan francs, Simerwa closed the counter at 120 Rwandan francs, MTN Rwanda at 180 Rwandan francs, Bank of Kigali at 245 Rwandan francs, Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs, National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs, Uturi Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs, RH Buffalo at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. Currency market review of today, 27th January 2022. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.7 Rwandan francs and selling price was 8.9 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 and selling price was 0.44 Rwandan francs. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.28 Rwandan francs and selling price was 0.29 Rwandan francs. Burundian franc buying price was 0.49 Rwandan francs and selling price was 0.5 Rwandan francs. The US dollar buying price was 1,002 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,022 Rwandan francs. The British pound buying price was 1,346 Rwandan francs and selling price was 1,373 Rwandan francs. The euro buying price was 1,124 Rwandan francs and selling price was 1,146 Rwandan francs. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.